I'm really excited to be sharing the news of my new book launch. This book is coming to you via Amazon in September 2020. It's called They're Not Coming to You Yet, and it's all about marketing. But not a book about marketing for marketers, not a technical book, not a book about marketing for Silicon Valley startups or, tech startups who are already doing loads of marketing. This is a book about marketing for businesses who don't do marketing, businesses who don't know how to do marketing, businesses who would think, marketing doesn't work for us, it doesn't work in our industry, we don't need marketing. We've tried marketing and we spent loads of money on it, but it just didn't deliver results. So what I do in the first section is explain the marketing foundations, how I would go about setting up marketing for any business, no matter what it is you do. I talk about brand messaging and positioning. I talk about your product market fit. I talk about setting up websites. Then I move on to different ideas which will apply to different businesses. Some of them will apply to you, some of them won't, but they should all get you thinking about different marketing channels and campaigns. Get you thinking, how can we go out and find our customers? Because there is no one at home thinking, I want to go and give this person my money. They're not coming to you yet. You've got to go out and get them. And that is what this book is all about. So it's a £10 book, which you can buy on Amazon from September 2020. And you know what? Read this 150 pages before you go out and spend thousands of pounds on marketing. And maybe it will help you do it a little bit better. For more, you can learn about this book. Head to drorwayne.com/book. And I would really love to be able to help you with your marketing through such a simple tool as a £10 book. Welcome back to Acumen. My name is Dror Wayne, and today with me in the studio is Benji Leslie. Benji's been my best friend for about 20 years, and if his name's familiar, that's because the other day I had Simon Leslie in here, and that's his dad. Simon was CEO of Inc., which he set up in 1994, and we spoke about his journey building one of the greatest media sales organizations on the planet. Benji's been working for his dad for the past 4 years in sales. It's fair to say he's had quite a bit of his own success in the company, which was Simon's aim with all his salespeople. So now, having had the perspective of Simon, the CEO at the top of organization, we're going to get this perspective from the front lines in sales with Benji Leslie. Benji, thank you very much for joining me in the studio today.
You're very welcome.
I want to ask you firstly about your journey, because we used to do homework together sometimes. And if I can, without being rude, say, of the two of us, I was the more academic one.
Well, I don't quite know about that.
But of the two of us, school wasn't necessarily your thing. You didn't go to university.
No.
And now, 4 years after you've left school, you've been absolutely killing it in your dad's company. So how have you done this? Is there a secret trick? Are you born with the natural sales ability? What is it that makes you a great salesperson?
Everybody has this thing where they say, oh, you're born with the gift of the gab, or, I'm able to sell ice to an Eskimo, all these silly little cliches like you asked me not to use. To be honest with you, I started from the very bottom. For people who don't know what Inc. is, it's essentially selling media for airlines, for travel. And I started doing pretty much mopping the floors, selling the smallest contracts with a small airline, and literally just doing more calls, more than anybody else, and building and learning.
So do you think you learned on the job more than anything else? 100%. With each call you learn, with each call. I hear that from a lot of people.
It's all about repetition. The more time you spend on something, the better you get. It takes 10,000 hours to master something. I've been doing it for 4 years.
I said no cliches. Okay.
That's not cliche. That's factual.
You believe it?
I truly believe it.
You believe that with repetition comes expertise, as it were?
100%.
So would you say that feedback is also important? Are you grateful to your sales leaders and managers in your teams in a particular way?
100%. I've got multiple mentors, leaders, managers who spend countless hours with me on development. We have speakers that come in. We have private one-to-ones with coaches. You then got, obviously, your manager as well, who is listening back to every call you do. Everything's recorded. You get picked up on how fast you're breathing, how fast you're speaking, what you're saying, when you're saying it. And especially when you start getting into the bigger deals and the bigger sales, the smallest minute thing can make someone just completely switch off and go, no, I don't want to buy that anymore. And it's about growing and learning and finding out through others. Because, if there was nobody around me, I would be nothing. in essence. And I'm anywhere near the standard of the people that I have learned from, but I'm picking up day to day, and I'm learning every single day.
Do you
different
take notes?
Tips.
Do you just absorb it and apply it?
It's a mixture. If I had, for example, a mentoring session, I'd have a notepad that I would take, and I would take down notes, and then I would put into practice the advice that's given. But it's very much as well listening to things that even salespeople around me on the floor. So I'm very fortunate that I'm on the team with a lot of the very top bookers of the business. And just by sitting at my desk, I'm able to listen and observe what they're doing and how they do it. We spend a lot of time picking apart each other's calls. We spend a lot of time just having conversations and saying, right, you could have done this better, you could have done that better. The same as, for example, footballers.
So if I were to ask you to make a percentage
Yeah.
of how much of your time is on calling
Yeah.
and how much of your time is on learning and advising each other,
It depends on how successful you want to be. And
how much are you doing?
I would probably say, 100% of my time when I'm in the office is spent on either driving, like on the phone, calling people, pitching, explaining what I've got to offer, or looking for new businesses that I want to reach out to, doing research. I do a lot of my learning and my growth either before work, after work, or on the weekends. So
your whole life must be sales, essentially.
My whole life is sales. And it sounds terrible, but it's not, because if you genuinely love what you do, and that's another bloody cliche, but if you genuinely do enjoy what you do and you get a buzz from it, I get a buzz from closing a deal. I love it. It feels amazing.
So it feels amazing when you've closed it. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Or the best is, whether it's either the deals you've worked hardest on and you've been calling them for ages and they finally close, or the ones which are just so easy and you've called someone up and suddenly you've closed like the huge thing, which happens very rarely but can happen.
Yeah.
Those feel great. And it's adrenaline, it's a high, it's dopamine, it's everything.
Yeah.
But sales can also feel really shit.
100%.
So if you've had a shit day or a shit week, let's say, because it can happen, what is it for you? How do you get back up? And because we all have our sales voice, the voice. So I'm slight on a voice, not really, but now that we're on the microphones.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick up the phone and start selling someone, it would be, "Hi, is that Benji? Hi, my name's Dror." We all have our sales voice. We put on a little bit of energy. We put on a bit of oomph. So how do you do that? How do you find it in you when you just feel shit because you've had a shit week?
The best salespeople are the best actors.
Do you think it's lying then? Are you lying to people?
There's an element of lying in the sense of your persona is a lie. So nobody feels happy or excited 100% of the time. That would be ridiculous. But the whole process and what I've been taught is that when you're preparing for a call, you have to get yourself into a mindset where you turn everything else off and you assume this role of, I am the boss now, and I am going to make sure that I put across exactly what needs to be put across in order to close this deal.
So I suppose it's not lying as much as you're stepping into a character. You're building yourself up to the person you want to be on the phone rather than the person you feel like.
And the work that you do on yourself and your growth is essentially just making that character better, bigger, better. So, for example, there's hundreds of different things you can do. You can read books, you can meditate, you can do brain training, you can listen to YouTube videos. Whatever you do, you have to take that on board and build it in some way. If you don't use it, if you just listen to it for the sake of it to say, "Oh, I'm going to grow and I'm going to learn," but you don't actually action it, then you might as well not sit there in the first place and even take any of your time to do it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you're speaking about trainers and videos and all these things. There are a gazillion bullshit sales trainers out there. They will take your money.
Yeah.
They will say, "Sign up to my course." So you sign up to their free webinar. The free webinar, they drop the hints of, "I'm going to release the secret in my course, but first you need to buy my ebook." And it's absolute crap. So how do you differentiate the people you actually want to learn from the people who are just trying to, take your money and they're teaching sales because they can't do sales?
Well, the thing is that everything stems from somewhere.
Right.
And it doesn't matter whether you're listening to Grant Cardone or Tony Robbins or Jordan Belfort, whoever it is, the principles you'll realise are very similar between each person, each trainer. It's just that they're delivering it in a different way, and they put their own spin or they use their own language. But you'll find that there's a very much set regime between all the successful people, which is they're eating clean, they're waking up early, they're meditating, they're practicing their craft.
How many of these things do you do?
Quite a lot. It's difficult to say I'm perfect and I do all of this stuff day on, day off, because I don't. I lose regime. But in terms of meditating, I've had multiple different applications on my phone where it's like breathe or whatever, and you listen to this 20-minute clip. I've now built it into my daily routine where I'm not as such listening to anything, but I have a period between when I've had my shower and when I'm just getting dressed for work, where I lie in bed and I have 15 minutes where I just completely zone everything out, my phone's off, and I just think.
I think that's really important. I think so many people, it's moving slightly away from necessarily sales, but in everything, any business leader, anyone in today's modern working world, we're so connected, and it's so 24-hour, and everyone's like, oh, out of hour service, and they want to be able to call and WhatsApp you at any time, and they want replies to their email straight away. We need to turn off. It is too fast.
I agree, but I disagree at the same time, in the sense that I am...
Hang on, you're not allowed to disagree. This is my show.
I'm agreeing and disagreeing the sense that, yes, you need to turn off and you need to switch off. And, you know, that Friday night or that Saturday or that Sunday where you're out with your friends or you're going to watch a football match or whatever you do to enjoy yourself, you should cherish it. But at the same time, I am 24/7 on call. Because when you're working in a commission-based role, if you genuinely enjoy what you do and if you genuinely want to earn money, serious money, then if something pings through on a Saturday, you can leave it till Monday and it will turn into nothing. However, if you pick up the phone straight away on Saturday and you go, hey, just got your email, great to speak with you, like, how's everything going? They're going to realise that you're actually not just a two-bob salesman who's just doing it for the basic salary. You're actually fully committed to what you're selling and you believe in it. And that's the main root of everything. If you believe in what you're selling, then it's not hard to sell.
If someone has just started a sales role and they're not in a company that they've known about all their life, they've started a sales role, how... You say it's so necessary to believe it, but what if they just don't?
Make yourself. You have to condition yourself. You have to truly believe that what you're selling is the best thing on the planet, so that when you sell it to somebody, they get that from you. People buy your emotions, not what you're saying.
Now, do you then turn people away if they're not right for you?
I'm very meticulous in the way that I source companies.
Okay.
So I know specifically what I'm selling. I'm selling media for airlines. So then I would go to suitcase brands. I would go to sleeping tablets for people who have had trouble, with jet lag. Everything that I'm, pitching out has relevance, because that way there's no way they can turn around to me and go, why would I want to do that? Because it's just there. It's so obvious.
So you pick the right people in advance. You wouldn't go to someone just because you think they're a business with money. You'd go to them because you genuinely believe your product can help them. Yeah.
Another important thing about, successfully doing deals is that you've got to have an angle.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if I came to you and I said, right, do you want to buy these strawberries? But you didn't like fruit, then why would you buy the strawberries? But if I knew that you'd literally just started a brand new diet where you had to have a smoothie with fresh berries every morning, and I come to you and go, I've got these bloody strawberries, they're the freshest strawberries in the world, whatever your bloody sales pitch is, doesn't matter what strawberries I've got, whether they're good or not. You need the strawberries, therefore you're going to buy the strawberries.
Right, and I think something a lot of people miss, and a lot of people might listen to what you're saying and they're saying, oh, you're only selling to the easy targets, that means you're less good of a salesman. Is that... No, the sales work doesn't just start when you pick up the phone.
It's the preparation.
Picking good leads, finding and sourcing and going out and finding people with the budget, with the need, with the problem that you can solve, whatever you want to call it, is part of the good salesman's job. So if you can't sell to someone who doesn't need the product or who won't benefit from the product, that doesn't make you a bad salesperson. What makes you a good salesperson or a great salesperson is finding the right person, pitching them the right angle of your product, because your product can also have your product. When I say product, I mean good or service.
Yeah.
It can have multiple advantages which don't benefit every specific person. So you sell me a laptop. Well, the laptop has lots of different features.
Yeah.
Now, I'm on the go, so you might promote to me the fact that it's lightweight. Someone else might be editing photos all day and they want really good color quality, so you speak about the quality of the screen. Different people, you'd identify different features, but picking the right person, tailoring your sale to them as opposed to just to your product.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, I've started working with a new trainer recently, and he says to me, it's not about lifting the weight, it's about contracting the muscle.
Yeah.
The weight is there, the weight has to come up. The weight is, helping me make the gain. But if I just focus on getting the weight up, I do it. You cheat. You get under it in a different way. But when you focus on contracting the muscle, the weight is going to be lifted as a result. But you're getting the right bit.
I mean, you can be the best salesman in the world, but if you haven't prepared and if you haven't got a good lead base, then who are you going to call?
Right. Do you believe in things like buying lead lists offline, just random numbers?
I've done it before. I've tried all the shortcuts. There's no such thing as shortcuts.
There's no shortcuts whatsoever.
There's no shortcuts.
What are the...
Think about it like this. I go on one of these websites, Fiverr, for example, and I've got some guy who I go to him and go, right, here's 60 quid. I want 250 leads.
And what would that give you? What are the leads? Are they names and phone numbers, email addresses,
so
companies?
what that would give me would be, I'd give them a sector or something that I want them to research, and they would give me name of the company, the contact of the person I need to speak to, the phone number and the email address.
Okay.
And that's what I do on a daily and also on the weekends. I spend hours of time finding leads. I've got spreadsheets of leads and leads and leads. It's all color-coded. Red if they told me no. Orange if they want to speak in a few months, with dates and notes and comments, and green and how much money they've spent. So everything's very, very process-driven. But, I get these 250 leads. I look at them. Not only have I never even been on the person's website before, I've never heard of the company. So I call them up. Great, I've got the mobile number. And I get through to Joe Blogs. And Joe Blogs goes to me, but why did you choose us? What am I going to say?
You don't have an answer for it.
I don't have an answer.
Because my guy on Fiverr told me to.
Because I paid and I tried to shortcut. And companies will ask you that very question because they get, okay, if I'm a marketing director, my job essentially is to plan the budget and then allocate between different mediums. My job as a salesperson is to cold call them out of the blue and say, that 50 grand that you've put towards TV advertising, no, you're not doing that. You're doing this with me, right? Now, if that marketing director turns around to me and says, but why us? What fit? Why? And I don't have an answer.
The sale's over.
See you later. Whereas, if I go, because I know you've got an offer on for so-and-so, you're targeting this demographic, we carry mainly X, and I tailor everything specifically around.
So that's a lot of information.
I'm a researcher, I'm a caller, I'm a negotiator. I cover everything. I'm the finance guy. I chase the payments. I chase the artworks because it's my money that's coming in the bank at the end of the day. If that person doesn't pay their bill, I don't earn my commission. If that person doesn't submit their artwork, I don't get paid my commission.
Is commission your biggest motivator?
Yes and no. Because yes, obviously you're in it for the money, but at the same time, I genuinely enjoy what I do. And whereas there's dips and there's kind of lulls where I'm like, I've had hundreds of no's and it's been 3 weeks since I've done a deal and, everyone's telling me to go F myself or whatever. And you get rude people who literally will pick up the phone.
100%. I was selling at an exhibition. And I was at an exhibition which I had paid for a stand at.
Yeah.
So I had every right to sell to people.
Yeah.
And we were just opposite the staircase as people come down into the room.
Yeah.
And the room I was in was a bit dead. There were no there were business owners on these stands, small businesses. They didn't have any good salespeople.
Yeah.
But I was on my stand, big fresh smile, even though I didn't really think it. And everyone who came down the stairs, hey, good morning, welcome to the show. I was literally welcoming people in. Can I talk to you about that? Or what are you planning? And and it was selling an event.
Yeah.
And one guy
just went and started screaming at me. Like the whole room went silent as they stared at this guy who was like, I really don't appreciate the way you jumped on me. I'm like, oh, calm down. You came to a place you know people are going to sell to you. I didn't jump on you. I'm standing in my stand and I greeted you. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. That's my job.
Yeah.
And he's just shouting at me. So I said, and I'm keeping the calm voice and I'm saying, I, of course, completely understand. You're welcome to, move on. And he's getting more and more angry, and I honestly think this guy is about to punch me. Yeah. So some people do think that I don't know, that you're harassing them, and some people
don't like being sold to, especially the people who think they're the best salespeople.
But people love buying.
Sometimes
we love going shopping. Well, some of us.
Yeah, but you've got to remember that when you go shopping, you have an idea in your head of what you want to buy, and if someone's calling you out of the blue and telling you to buy something completely different to what you thought you wanted to buy, that's a completely different mindset.
Well, that's why I think the people who have hacked the game in sales are personal shoppers. There are people who you go to a department store and they say, and you pay them to sell you stuff.
Yeah.
You say, I'm here, I have lots of money, I will pay you to go around the shop and pick things for me to buy. Yeah. It's nuts. They've hacked sales completely.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can replicate that in B2B sales. People wanting us to sell to them. It would. I don't know what quite the feeling is that people enjoy with personal shoppers so much, but
it's very much an ego buy as well, where you're able to just flaunt your money and say, I don't care what it costs. I'm the big man. Tell me what you want me to buy. Tell me what you think looks good, and I'll buy it. And a lot of people do buy on ego.
Right, but do you? A lot of people speak about trust in sales. So do you find that you have to build trust so that you can give them that advice, that you say, listen, this is my area of expertise.
Yeah.
Buy what I'm telling you to buy, not because I'm a salesperson, but because I know this and you need to trust me. Does that work? Because that's what I think Belfort says.
Yeah, of course. And when you're calling trying to sell a penny stock or whatever, this person's never heard of you, they never heard of your company. Whereas when I'm calling, I'm saying, I'm calling on behalf of EasyJet, or I'm calling on behalf of American Airlines. I'm fortunate in the sense that people know that brand.
You have a brand name behind you, which gives you authority.
Which gives me authority, right? So, yes, people know us in the market. We're quite a big company, and people go, yeah, your colleague called me 3 weeks ago. We're not interested, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, thanks. Why not? Why not interested? And I've now, especially since all of this coronavirus has gone on, I've started pushing people and going, well, actually, why are you not interested?
I mean, you have the time now.
Yeah.
Have you found that? I mean, obviously the travel industry has been hit as hard as it's ever been hit. I mean, I don't remember a time that, and I don't think many people remember a time that travel has completely stopped for 4 months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we got hit really hard. I was on furlough for 3.5 months.
There's a but coming, I can tell.
Whilst we were on furlough, my dad, the CEO of the company, organised countless Zoom calls with Jordan Belfort, with names like Tim Storey, with some of the biggest, not only influencers, but sales gurus and coaches. He organised calls with nutritionists, with psychologists, with
so hang on, you're telling
sleep therapists.
And I did see something about this on your Instagram and on the company page as well.
Yeah.
You're telling me he was bleeding money because the company wasn't making anything.
Yeah.
And he just hired all these people just to give back to the salespeople.
Yeah. One a day for 7 to 8 weeks.
That is incredible.
And these are top class people. Because it wasn't about there and then, and it never is. It's always about the bigger picture.
Have you been able to bounce back even though the economy is shattered at all?
It's funny because where other people see distress, there's always opportunity. I mean, right now we're sitting.
You are so like your dad.
On the 22nd of the month. Is it 22nd? 23rd?
Something like
that. And I've already done, let's be honest, one of the worst economical circumstances that there's ever been, that anyone's ever seen.
When the travel industry could collapse
at any point. I've done one of my largest ever months in terms of revenue.
Congratulations.
So
is that your message to people, that in any time of distress there is still opportunity?
The people who aren't selling at the moment are the people who are scared.
Okay.
if you doubt, as soon as you start doubting your product and yourself, if you tell yourself stories like, no one's going to want to buy this because no one's traveling, or this is happening, or whatever shit story you sell yourself, you believe.
But if you sell yourself a positive story...
I've sold myself the story that it doesn't matter what's going on. And actually, I've actually felt quite relieved in the sense that... We're running out of time. Relieved in the sense that I no longer have the pressure that everyone's expecting me to sell. It's now, if you sell... You are a winner. You're a winner. And I've kind of taken that and gone... and somehow smashed it out of the park.
It does definitely seem like you are an absolute winner. This journey you've had over the past 4 years in sales is pretty incredible, and it's been incredible to watch. You guys have been listening to Acumen with me, Dror Wayne, and my special guest today, Benji Leslie. We've been talking all about sales. On the show, we speak about business, leadership, and marketing. So make sure you're scrolling through the episodes and picking out the ones that are relevant to you. Leave me your comments, leave me your feedback. If you're on social media, comment down below. If you are on Spotify and that sort of stuff, you can follow me on Instagram, add me on LinkedIn, send me a message. Have a great night and keep making magic.